first question here from the audience is Senate Bill 742, in-state tuition to illegals. How would you vote and why?
I would vote no, and I don't believe the bill has legs.
And I'll tell a little story about it because you asked why. I would vote yes, and the why has to do with having been a high school principal for 15 years and having been in schools for 32 years, and recognizing that the federal government requires us to take every child and teach them, whether they're legal or not, in our state right now. That's a federal requirement, so every kid that is here, we have to teach. Many of the kids who are illegals have been in our schools for their whole 12 years. They don't know any other language except English. And those kids are on a track and would like to be American citizens. The ones that I have known, the families I've known, I would like them to be American citizens because they're hardworking, good people. And we should be able to figure out how to make them work towards their citizenship at the same time they're going to college. That's for those children. I'm not talking about the parents, that's just me. I had a young man, and I tell this story from time to time, who at the age of, I believe he was 7, Vietnam fell, and his parents took everything they had and gave some money to a group of people to walk him across Laos, and then from there to try to get him to the Philippines, to the camps over in the Philippines. He did that. He then made it to a group in our community, who were some Christian families and Vietnamese who brought him to Coos Bay, Oregon. Still wasn't a citizen or anything, but they got him to Coos Bay. He was, and by that time he was in high school, and this is how long this kid is working. He made it through high school, was a brilliant student. Could not get tuition here, didn't know what to do, checked around, realized that New York State did not have a problem with the tuition issue. He could get in-state tuition. They still have to pay what anybody here has been doing. But he went to New York. He is now a doctor practicing there. I wish he was a doctor practicing here, personally. I also had to do an immigration thing, and I wish we would figure out what Utah has done to make this right. We had a youth pastor in our community who was loved by everyone, including all of the Christian groups in our community. And his wife was a citizen. His kids were citizens. He was not. He was here on a visa and working as a youth pastor. Something happened with the paperwork. We could not get that changed. He was sent out of the country, which drove me and all of the people in our community crazy, because he was doing everything that was right in the sense of the world, and was trying to become a citizen, and his kids were. So they're all back in Mexico, hoping to figure out how to get back and do the work that God has sent him to do. And so I get very frustrated with how our federal government has dealt with this issue, because it is hurting people really badly. And I don't think these kids have a choice. They get drug along with whoever they are. And so I have a harder time. I have another kid who is Hispanic, whose father is a retired Navy person, stepfather, and he went to fight for us because they told him that if you work in the Navy, if you're in the service, we will help you get you to citizenship. And he went and fought in 2 campaigns in Iraq, and I guess in the first Gulf War, and could never get his citizenship. When promised, they would send him a notice saying, "Oh, stop by the Coos Bay office and we'll get it taken care of." I'm in Iraq. It was absolutely, he became so frustrated with the whole system. His brother, on the other hand, went to college, paid his out-of-state tuition, applied and was here, so he could actually show up. And he got his citizenship before his brother, who was in the Navy. Right now, I am very frustrated with the federal government, and I don't think we should take it out on these kids who, through no fault of their own. So that's where I'm at with that.
This is one of those philosophical issues. I was going to be brief, but I
know.
I got to say why. Look,
Thank you.
You can have that conversation. I'm an employer. My wife and I are employers. We've literally sponsored a Mexican citizen through the process, and it is a booger, believe me. And it takes a heck of a long time. And when we did it and loaned this person the money, I didn't know I'd ever get it back. It turned out this kid went back to where he was from, put the time in, got the records, came back, did it all right, and is here now working for Bimbo Bread Company as a regional manager. This kid got the job done. So don't misunderstand. I want you to have a path, and I believe in that path. Here's what I think is wrong. Right now, you are providing, if you do that, still an incentive for illegal behavior.
That's
Now,
correct.
I mean, I feel bad for a kid who gets drugged across the line.
Right.
But I'll tell you this, if I'm 13 or 14 and I can see the other side of the line and I know there's a better life there, I might take that risk too. So right now you're incentivizing illegal behavior. That's number one. Number two is, if that person is going to college, and let's say they graduate college, but they don't have citizenship, then what? Federal rule says you're still here illegally. If you're caught, you should go back to your country of origin for a minimum of 3 years. So I look at this and say, we got all these people who we need and would like to get educated, but we're going to give this benefit to someone who by law should finish college and go back to the country where they came from for 3 years. I'd rather focus on the folks who are here. That's the, and the other thing is, and I have this conversation is, people say, well, get them educated and then get them to working. Well, if they're working and they're working illegally,
Yes.
they're paying taxes illegal under somebody else's social security number.
Exactly.
So if you believe that's the right thing to do, now they're paying taxes and paying into a system to which they have no legal right to the benefit. That's not fair either. It's not fair to them. They're there working, they're doing their job, they're paying into the tax system, and they have no legal right to the benefit. I want them to have the legal right to the benefit. But I don't think it's fair to say, well, great, let's get them through education, then put them into a job for which they're paying into a benefit system that they have no legal right to get the benefit back. Let's figure it out. Let's get the federal government to say, if you're here, give a work visa, do whatever it takes to get it right, but let's not encourage illegal behavior.
Exactly.
Okay, next, the SEIU 503 report.